Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Scale Riders podcast episode. I am your host, 65 Lokes, and we're at episode number 190, covering model car culture from around the world. Excited for this one because we're going all the way to the UK to interview the one and only Lee Croden. On Instagram, you guys know him. I mean, his work is phenomenal. It's at Krow Kustom. Let's just get right into the episode. I hope you guys enjoy. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another Scale Riders podcast episode. I'm here joined by Lee, also known as Krow Customs, all the way in the UK. Episode 190. I'm excited for this one. So, what's up, man? How you doing?
Morning, very well. Very well. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you. And I mean, for the listeners that don't know, for you right now, it's 5 a.m. in the morning.
Yep. It's dark, it's cold.
Man, it's crazy. One question: how far are you from Manchester?
Manchester, about 50 miles,
Okay.
something like that. I can be in Manchester within 45 minutes or something like
Yeah.
that.
Oh, nice. Right on, man. Yeah, I've been over there to Manchester before
Oh, right, okay.
many times. So maybe in the
Yeah.
future, one day if I ever go out to Manchester again, I'm gonna have to
Oh,
hit up your
let,
way.
yeah, let me know. Let me know.
No,
Manchester's a great city.
that's cool. What trips me out is when I started to see your work on Instagram. I at first I thought you were from California. I had, I really didn't have any idea that you were out in Europe. And at first it was just like the builds in the bench, and I kept wondering, like, man, I wonder where he's from. And a lot of the people out here that I know were referring me and showing me like your photos, like, hey, check out like what this guy's doing. And I mean, over here I see a lot of other people doing custom stuff too. And when I started, I was wondering, like, man, I wonder if I'll see his stuff at a show out here or something, you know?
Oh, one day I wish.
But man, I mean, once I saw, I was like, oh, wait a minute, he's all the way in the UK. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, that's cool. How how I want to know, like, how'd you get all into this? Like your inspirations and your history with model building.
Well, I've always been into cars. My dad, I've never built real ones, but my dad always pointed out cars to me. He liked cars and things like that. And from a kid, I used to buy every week. You've got the Hot Wheels cars. We back in the 70s and had Matchbox cars. So they weren't as customized as what you get as Hot Wheels, but they were mainly standard ones. And I used to buy them every week and play with them all the time. So from what I can remember, I've always been into cars, and it was always a real sort of buzz when you saw an American car around, because compared to the cars that you've got or you had in the 60s and 70s, ours are just boring, you know? So yeah, from an early age, I've always been into cars, bought magazines and things like that. So, and when I bought the magazines, a lot of the American custom cars were in there, and I kind of gravitated towards them kinds of things. So yeah, the sort of inspiration for how I build over the years, it was kind of getting into the history of custom cars and like Barris and all of that. But it wasn't until I was like 18, 19, 20 that I really knew or got deep into the history of who Barris and Winfield and the Alexander brothers and all them kind of people were. And then sort of the internet came on and came a thing, Facebook, and just the information that's available to you through the internet, and have the information when you want it to research these old cars.
Yeah, it's like
It's
very
it's
endless, huh?
amazing. You're sorry?
It's like very endless once you
Yeah,
tap into the internet at that point.
exactly. Exactly. If I want to find a particular car,
Mm.
I can have it there at my fingertips within seconds. And yeah, so my sort of inspiration to the history of the custom cars, particularly like the wilder late 50s, sort of early 60s stuff with the bubble tops and that kind of thing. Um, and it's just made it a lot easier. And then kind of I draw a lot of inspiration. I've got quite a collection of old early 60s carcraft magazines that I managed to pick up over the years, and I read them quite a lot. And sort of like the golden age of modelling when all the AMT kits were new, and they were at like a dollar fifty each, and people were buying loads of them and cutting them up and just having fun. That's where the inspiration comes from for me. It's just that early 60s sort of period where people were just having fun with things, basically.
And it's crazy, yeah, because I mean, it seems like a lot of the stuff was like very unique, very experimental, but at
Exactly.
the same time, it was like they didn't know what was going to be happening in the future. Like those were going to be some inspirations, and also what it looks like is like some freedom also for the artists to be able to just express themselves, right?
Yeah,
With the builds.
yeah. That's kind of what I do. I do with my builds. It's like I won't start a build until I kind of know what it's gonna in my head. I know what it's gonna look like, or try and get it out of my head into the plastic. Really, I like the older kits. Um, I mainly only build AMT kits um, because, like a lot of these, you get the really cool custom parts in them and just really cool bits. You know?
Yeah, no, yeah, that's one of the things I like, especially like when I would buy the 58 Impala or
Yeah,
even the like a 57 Bel Air and AMT. I back then, I was building more lowrider cars, so when I would get those extra custom pieces, I wouldn't use them. I would always set them aside. But later, as an adult, as I got into going through that phase of like piquing my interest in customs, I started kind of digging back and realizing, wow, all these parts are here. And
yeah,
then, I was using a lot of those parts, but I still like the way even those parts that were provided, how it gave it that custom look.
yeah,
But when I see like your stuff, I go, wow, you're taking it to like another level, where I go, wow, like this is crazy.
yeah. I like the hauler. I mean, just you're on about the AMT 58 Impala. That was the first kit that I bought. It was the AMT 58 Impala, and I bought it. I took it to my bedroom, bought it. I was 17. Took it to my bedroom and put it together in an afternoon, and that's what started it. But that 57 hauler that you've got behind you, all I used from the 57 kit on the car was the main body parts and the interior tub. That's it. Everything else, there's no chassis detail, no engine detail, but all I've used from the 57 Ford kit is the body, really.
Man, that's a trip. When you get your model kits and you use some of the parts and everything else is like scratch built and put together, do you just start saving up all those unused parts throughout the
Oh
years?
yeah, yeah. I mean, I've been building for the last sort of 5 years. I've been building a lot more. What's the word I'm looking for? I've been getting a lot more confident in chopping them up and having a lot of fun. But I've been building for 30 years, and under the bed here in my little hobby room, I've got 30 years worth of spare parts,
Wow.
and and I've got probably 150 kits, no, 120 kits up in the loft, old AMT kits and stuff. So yeah, if I want a part, I just go rummaging through and yeah, just rummage through the parts box until I find something that I like that I'll use. And it's all the parts that I'm looking for. It's all about the shape.
Mhm.
And can I make that part into that shape that I want it to be? If not, I'll use plastic card.
Yeah, and take us back to when you got that first model. At that time when you bought that AMT kit, the first model, was there other options like other models? Like,
Oh
was
yeah.
it hard to get model kits at that time or no?
Well, when I first started, a friend of mine, a friend of mine called Andy Swindlehurst. I worked in a little town in Skipton, North Yorkshire, called Skipton, which is 15 miles from here. I lived there at the time, and I was walking. I used to buy a magazine. We used to have this magazine over here called Street Machine, which was a British hot rod and custom car magazine. And they had a model page in there. There was a guy called Terry Ross that wrote a model page in that magazine. It's only one page every month. And I've been reading it for a couple of years. Anyway, I was walking home from work and spotted this model shop on my way home from work, and it was always closed. And then one day I was walking home and it was open, so I thought, right, I'll call in. And yeah, it was full of AMT model kits and any other Revell, other manufacturers and stuff. And I just spent half an hour there, bought, and the 58 Impala, I've always loved that car. And it was like, yeah, I'll get that one. I'll pick that because I liked the car. Took it home, built it with a tube of model glue, no paint or anything, and just slammed it together. And then from then on, I used to go in once every couple of weeks and buy another one. And Andy, who ran that shop, is one of my best mates now. We've been friends for 32 years now.
Wow, that's awesome, man.
Yeah,
It's always like cool to hear those stories like that.
yeah. But it was his mum that was in the shop and sold me that model kit, and then told Andy about me. It's like, oh, this new lad's just come in and bought a kit. And then the next time I came in, he was there, and I ended up working in the shop with him on a Saturday morning sometimes, and my payment was a model kit.
That's tight. How was that feeling? Like, do you still remember like those days of working there?
Oh, it was great. It was great fun. It was a model. At that time when I worked for him, it was a DIY shop, like a hardware shop.
Hmm.
But in the back, he sold models as well. So I'd work for a few hours on a Saturday afternoon in the hardware shop, helping customers out, and then my payment at the end of the day was a model kit. Choose a model kit off the shelf. Off you go.
Oh man, that's like every kid would want to do that, like working,
Yeah,
like just pay me, give me what I want. I'll be
yeah.
happy with that.
Just an AMT kit, and yeah, that was that. I was happy with that.
Yeah, and was he the only friend that you were building with, or were you guys kind of starting like your own kind of community at that time?
Well, model building here is very different to what it is in the States. I mean, we are quite a small country, but here it's more military based. Is the model scene, aircraft, armor, tanks. The car builders are quite a small community. And a lot of them car builders are into racing cars and supercars and things like that. And there's some. So back then, when I was at the shop, there was a couple of guys who used to come in to the shop and buy the model kits. So I got to know them, and we'd swap ideas and things like that. And I'm still friends with them people today. We've got a big show coming up this weekend, and we'll be getting together at that show. And
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, we I want to talk about that later, like later
okay,
on the episode. That's a topic I wanted to bring up. So that's cool.
but yeah, so I've been building all those years on and off, but it's only in the last sort of few years that I've really got into my sort of what I think into the groove of what I build. And since I think mainly since starting my Facebook page and my Instagram page, it's got a bit more intense with what I'm doing. People
Yeah.
seem to like what I'm building. So
Oh yeah, dude. No, definitely. When you joined Instagram, what year was that?
oh God, I can't remember. I mean, I've had my Facebook page for quite a couple of years before my Instagram page, but I didn't know about Instagram, and I built. I'd seen online someone had done a Photoshop of a '69 Plymouth Barracuda, and they'd slammed it, put it on lowrider wheels, and things like that. I thought, I'm going to build that. That's really cool. So I built an MPC '69 Cuda and slammed it over Pegasus Supremes.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody loved that car.
That's
It's
cool.
got that crossover. But there's a guy called Mark Kawano. He has an Instagram page called Wheels Are Everything.
Mm-hmm.
And he does a lot of Photoshop stuff of slamming, photoshopping unusual cars, a lot of Chrysler stuff over sort of like a crossover lowrider, if you will, slide down over Pegasus. And he asked me if it was him that did the Photoshop, and I didn't know this at the time. And he asked me if he could share it on Instagram. Messaged me and asked me if he could share it on Instagram. So I said yeah. And I thought, oh well, I'll have to open a page here to so I can see it, kind of thing. And
yeah, see the response.
It's taken it from there. I can't remember how long I've had the Instagram page now.
Yeah. I mean, I like that you're very active, like posting, because I mean, there's a lot of people who dedicate themselves to doing amazing builds, but then again, they really don't share the process or share pictures of what's going on. Sometimes
Yeah,
you tend to see the stuff at the shows, or somebody
yeah,
else posts it, like, oh, I came across these photos of this artist that created this, but they're not online. So
yeah.
that's dope that you keep it up.
It's very deliberate the way that I post on my Facebook page and my Instagram page. I like to show, because you see a lot of these builds where they're staged, and I've done this little bit to my model, but you haven't seen how it's done. Whereas with what I like to post up is, yeah, it's the dirty side of it, the mess.
Yes.
And I like to post that way. Of you see my bench, you see the mess that is, and the rifling through parts boxes to try and find the right part to use. And I like to post it that way because it may inspire somebody else to look. This guy's here's building these models. I mean, I feel very honoured. It blows me away that people like what I do.
Yeah.
It's just like, I'm this guy in the UK who's slamming models together.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. I was tripping out. I was like, wait, he's all the way in Europe, in the UK?
Yeah,
I thought you were out here.
Yeah, and it's like my dirty little bench, doing what I enjoy doing. But if I can inspire somebody else to have a go, pick up a knife, and build what's in their head, and it
Yeah.
doesn't matter if it goes wrong. You have a go, and yeah, it's like people these people. My workbench is a tiny little writing desk that I got from a junk shop in my son's bedroom that he doesn't come to much anymore. But yeah, it's just show how it really is, not this staged photo of a nicely, beautifully made park.
Yeah.
It's I like to show the reality of it, if you will.
Yeah, you know, when you mention the word mess, you know, the one thing that comes to my mind from seeing your photos that you've shared is when you lay down like the putty on the car, and
Yes,
then you do another photo of when you're like sanding it, and you could
yeah,
see the dust, and it's like, you know, rough, and then later you start to see the shape, like it's like clean. And
yeah,
I like seeing all that process. As far as like putty, like what's like your favorite putty, your to go to when it comes
cheap,
to that?
cheap putty. Um, I customize stuff. I use. Oh, I can't find it. Um, I use cheap two-part automotive car body filler
Okay.
for real cars. Because it comes in a big tub. It's cheap. It goes off
Mhm.
quickly,
Yeah.
and you can shape it. You can carve it and get it to the shape you want.
Yeah. Does it have a good a window before it starts to harden?
Yes, about 2 minutes,
Okay.
something like that.
Yeah.
Even less than that, it can be a minute.
Oh,
So,
damn.
but you use a hardener to go with it, and you can control how quickly or slowly it cures by the amount of hardening that you put in. So I work in little bits of and mix it up a lot before it goes too hard and get it to the basic shape, and then sand it back.
Man,
So
that's cool. I mean, I'm always fascinated when I see people doing like chopping roofs or doing those modifications to their cars, and then they start showing you like the little strips of styrene they add, but then later when they do the little slabs of putty that are in there and it looks very smooth, I'm always like, man, I want to, I wish I could do that to my cars, but I feel like I get a little frustrated sometimes with my putty.
what I see, I use the two-part automotive, and then for the smaller bits, when the little bits of holes that appear, I'll just use standard Tamiya grey putty. Get that stuff. That stuff's getting hard to get here now as well.
Dang. And when it comes to sanding, are you using very coarse grits just to kind of knock
Uh,
everything down?
I use. Sorry, I'm going to have to go in the drawers of my bench.
Nah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I just use automotive sandpaper. That's 320 grit.
Hmm.
Use that to knock it back, and then you know the nail files that you get from the supermarket or the beauty shop kind of thing. Use I use them, so you get them that can be quite coarse. So
Yeah.
yeah, knock it back with something quite coarse, and then gradually get finer.
Oh, that's
Something
cool.
that's the way that I do it.
Yeah, and as far as like, do you ever substitute putty with like or for like CA glue?
Yes, yeah, I've started doing that. The I one of my biggest inspiration for building is a guy called Bill Stillwagon. Um, he's he's in Central America somewhere, and he builds the most incredible customs. And I was chatting to him, and he's like, "Yeah, I use this stuff."
I carry
And
that, the CA glue. By Bob
Yes, yeah,
Smith Industries.
fixie glue, fixie glue, and accelerator, and
Nice.
that's good. That's good for filling because it doesn't shrink then.
Hmm. Are you able to get the pink bottle?
Yes, I think so. I ordered it on eBay.
Okay, I was gonna say but both are dope. I like the purple and the pink one. Those are like my
Yeah,
two go-tos right there.
yeah.
The pink one's a little more thicker than the
Okay.
than the purple, but once you start messing with them, you'll know. Oh, I already know when to use this one. That's cool. I'm happy you
Yeah.
have that out there.
Well, yeah. Our local shop doesn't have it, but Bill Bill Stillwell says that's what he uses. So I thought I'd give some a go.
So you gotta get it imported in. Yeah, the Bob Smith Industries, they're maybe like I think they're like two hours from where I live. They're not too far from here.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
there's some keeps it. It's available in this country.
that's cool.
Um, so it's not expensive. It's something like I think it's about £6 a bottle, something like
Yeah.
that.
Oh, that's
So,
cool.
mm,
Yeah, that's
but
not
yeah,
that's not that bad. But yeah, that's I love that glue, man. That glue is
yeah,
like my to go to right there. Yeah, because I was wondering about that if you were also using like CA glue for customizing on your builds.
yeah, yeah. Started doing. It's like this, getting the side trim off there. That's just ground down and then filled with automotive filler. And I'll go over that a couple of times, sand it, fill it again, sand it, fill it again. So
Wow.
that relentless sand,
Hmm.
fill, sand, repeat, prime, fill,
Yeah,
repeat,
that
prime.
process.
That, yeah.
Do you, do you get
And
do you get that satisfaction feeling when you see your car like primered when you reach the primer stage?
I always go to the primer stage too early.
Mhm.
Um, because basically because I'm creating a shape, um, I always end up at the primer stage too early because to get they're all kind of different colors, different shapes of plastic and things. I very quickly primer something, give it a quick coat of primer just to see it all in one color and to see if the shape's right, if I need to change anything and that kind of thing. So yeah, I use a lot of primer. Most of it
Yeah.
comes off.
What brand of primer do you use?
We have an automotive store here called Halfords,
Hmm.
uh, and I tend to use all of their stuff. It works for me. I've used it for years. Um, it's decent product. I think I can't remember who it's made by, but there's a Halford store 10 minutes down the road from me, so I can go and get supplies. I don't tend to use a lot of hobby paint at all. I use Tamiya for brush painting, and that's it. Rest of it really is automotive spray cans that I use.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, and as far as like the materials, is there still existing like local hobby shops in your area where you can go and buy all this stuff, or do you mainly have to order online?
Um, there's not a lot of hobby shops left here. There's one that's about an hour's drive from, which is really good. But then over here, it's quite big into model railway stuff. So there's a shop that's 5 minutes down the road from me called Frising Hall Models, and they specialise in railway stuff. But they have a lot of supplies like plasticard and putties and milliput and that kind of thing in their store. So any plasticard that I need, I can just nip to the shop and get it from there. So,
Yeah,
but a lot, I'm the stuff that I do is very, very basic. I don't use a lot of material. I use a model kit, plasticard, automotive filler, and that's about it. So,
nice. And the current build that you got going on right now, tell us about that build.
the Buick, this one,
Yes.
yeah. Right, so that one, I bought the Buick off, got it off eBay. The body, all I had was the chassis plate. So this is an original from 1958. Don't know if it's A&T or SMP. 58 Buick Roadmaster. And all I had was the chassis plate, the body and the interior tub, no grills or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just wondering what to do with it, whether to try and source the parts to build it. But I don't really get any pleasure in building anything stock.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I've had this about 5 years maybe. And I came across it in the box, and it's like, right, let's have a look at that, see what we can do with it. And I love building bubble top cars. They're my favorite thing to build.
Man, they look cool. That looks awesome. When you go to like like one of the hobby shows, like the model shows, and there's vendors selling stuff, are you looking for like new kits, or are you looking kind of like open box, loose parts?
Open box parts. I like I'm really loving what Round Two are doing at the moment with what they're releasing, because they're retooling a lot of the old stuff and putting a lot of the old parts back into the kits. Like that 57, the hauler and stuff. They've re-put in the headlight pods and various custom parts back into it. So I keep an eye on what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Any of the new stuff. Like I've just bought the 63 Chevy wagon that they've released. Was it last year? I've just bought that because they've reissued it with all the custom parts back in it again. But I've got enough kits to see me a lifetime now. And rebuilders, old rebuilders that I've got in the drawer. I've probably got 30 to 40 old rebuilders to do of vintage 60s stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't really look for new stuff anymore. The latest stuff. It's the old.
And your builds, once they're completed, do you display them? Like, do you put them in a case or anywhere, like around the house, to see them?
Yeah. I've got a couple of cabinets downstairs where I put my builds. I'm running out of space now, so the older stuff. See, I've got two pretty distinct build styles. I've got the wilder stuff with the bubble tops and things like that, and then sort of like this one. So I'm going to go three. That's a really rare Styline kit, 61 Valiant from 62. That's all the custom parts that were in the kit. So that's pretty much box stock. But then I was talking earlier about a guy called Mark Kawano, who I'll build, if I want a quick build, I'll build a stock, say 67 Charger or something like that, slam it over some Supremes, clean the body up with minimal modifications. But yeah, they get displayed in my, I've got a cabinet, one in the living room and one in the hallway downstairs. And I rotate them round. So the oldest build comes out into a box and then the new one goes in.
Yeah. It's like a conveyor belt, like over time. All right.
Yeah. I mean, these things, the hauler, that took me a good 6 months to build, to finish, from start to finish. There's a lot of bodywork goes into them.
Yeah. Did you ever like take a break from building, like since you were 17, like building models till now?
Yeah. I mean, when I got married and had kids, didn't really build a lot. Still went to the shows, but hardly built at all then. And then it's only really gone up since I changed my job into a completely different career, and I now work. I work 6 days on, but then I have 4 days off, and a lot of the time through the week when everybody's at work or and I
Mhm.
can't do anything, so I spend my build time's just gone up quite a lot in the last 5 years, something like that. But yeah, it's hardly built at all through my 30s and times like that. But yeah, it's really I really love it now. It's my sort of happy place to be, sat on the
Yeah,
bench.
yeah. It's crazy because like when you think about like when you're 17, at that age you really don't have too many responsibilities. So it's like you just as long I guess as long as you just follow the rules, right? And like just come home and you could do your thing and your responsibilities, but they're very limited. You don't have so much. And then, you're in your by the time you're in your 30s, there's a lot going on. Then
Yeah, don't have time.
yeah. And I mean now, like you have, like work, you just said how many days you have off and all these things. Like I know for sure you have responsibilities, but they're a bit more like different now. Like,
Yeah, they are. I
that's
mean,
cool.
I work for the police
Hmm.
as a radio dispatcher. I do that, and it can be quite stressful. And then I I work a funny shift pattern as well, so I found that I'm more productive through the day before I go to work. So
Hmm.
some don't start work until 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So I'll have a few hours at the bench before I go to work.
Yeah.
When I come home from work, I'm not interested in being at the bench. I
Yeah.
too tired. But before, I'll sit and do a couple of hours and then get myself ready for work. Or when I'm on days off, I
Mhm.
will get up in the morning, do the little bits of chores that I need to do. Nobody's in the house, and I can spend 4, 5, 6 hours on a day off just messing about at the bench. So
Yeah,
I've
no,
done,
yeah. Keeps you busy, man. Do you ever think like, man, if I would be doing this right now, like, would it be kind of depressing? Do you ever think about that?
yeah, yes, it would because I'm all about. I love anything creative. I love anybody that does anything creative, be it knitting, sewing, painting, just creating, expressing themselves into something and that they're passionate about. You're doing something tangible. You're not just sat there scrolling through Netflix looking for something to watch because you're bored.
Hmm.
It's sat. It's almost like your mind goes, if when you're creating and you're doing something, your mind goes into a different place. Your
Hmm.
mind focused of not worrying about other things of life and things like that. All you're creating is getting this thing out of your head into a tangible piece and go, yeah, I made that, and something to be proud of, even if it's shite. It's not very good. You're still learning. It's like I have made that. It's something I have done. You know.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man. Damn, that's tight. I like what you said. What's kind of a trip too is like we like these things, these models, right, that we're working on creating at the end of the day, when we have this model done, or even if it's not even done, it's like a work in progress for as many years as it takes, but we still hold on to this piece. It's like we get to live with it. It gets to live with us. That,
Yes.
that's like
Yeah.
a cool thing that you can work on it. You can put it back in the box, put it on your bed or in your closet, and you'll move to another house or to another place, but you'll carry all this stuff with you. And
Yeah.
then later you go, man, I've had this for like 20, 30 years. And you go,
Mm.
dude, this is like, it's part of my life. Like,
Yeah. But
cool.
yeah. We were talking about passion for something, and it's like the it's a tangible thing. It's like you've got something to hold in the hands that you've made with your hands. Whether it goes in the bin afterwards, whether it's crap, it really doesn't matter. It's the fact that you sat in a mind space of making something. No matter, it doesn't matter what it is, a model car or whatever, you're making something and you're not worrying about anything else. It's that escape, if you will.
Yeah. Have you ever found anything with modeling like challenging where it makes you kind of step away from the bench for the moment, or you go, I'll come back to it later?
Every day.
Mm.
Every day. That's I find a little problem of how I'm going to do something, how I'm going to design this thing, and every day I walk away from the bench. Every day, go. I'm going to have I can't figure it out. Right, I'm going to go walk away for an hour, do something else, think about it in my head as how I'm going to overcome this, and then come back to it. And it may take a couple of weeks of how I'm going to do that. The project will go back in the box and I'll work on something else. I've always got loads of projects going on.
Yeah.
But that's probably why they take so long.
Yeah, and with being connected with everybody, through Instagram or Facebook, do you kind of feel, or that sense of like I mean, community for sure, but like inspiration to know, like, even though this is taking long, it's all good. There's other people around the world kind of doing the same thing and going through the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I've got some really good friends that we have Teams or Zoom meetings when we're all sat on the bench talking crap and drinking tea and whatever. And we literally we had one the other night. I've got a couple of mates, one called Mike and one called Gary. Opposite ends, we're at opposite ends of the country, but we were on a Teams meeting for 4 hours where we were just sat chatting, talking about projects, and we were all at our bench doing a little bit of model building, just chatting away. Because at the end of the day, this hobby is quite it's quite a lonely hobby sometimes when you sat on your own doing stuff and you only meet up at shows. And the internet's become a really good thing for that, that while you're at your bench you can be chatting to people that are into the same sort of thing as you are, swapping ideas and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's crazy. On that build, the latest one that you've been posting about, I wanted to bring up casting. So about resin casting, like, I noticed that you were using it for headlights. You had casted something, and then you had some spare parts that you say you were going to give away at the show. But how long have you been doing that resin casting for?
I bought the resin casting kit earlier on this year to try and copy some parts that I wanted to use. And then these headlight pods, I made them for the 57, the hauler, and ended up not using them. So I've got the master here somewhere. Yeah, so that's the master for it there. So I thought, right, I'm gonna make a mold of it so I don't have to make two. Posted it up and people seem to like the headlight pods. And were asking me about could they get them, but I don't want to go into resin casting business. I'm not interested in doing that. So if I can make a part that people like and I've got a mold for it, I will give them away. It's helping each other out. So many people have given me parts, sent them from all over the world. And I do the same. I send parts to people. It's giving a bit of something back. If I can help somebody out, I will do.
Yeah, that's cool. Man, it must be crazy like getting all these like parts and stuff from people, from because there's always gonna be something like hard to find or exclusive, like in one area they're like, we need to get it to him. That's pretty
Yeah,
nice.
yeah, it's great. I mean, a lot of the parts that I use are vintage parts from old model kits from the 1960s. And people like me have huge parts boxes. And you can post up online, has anybody got this part? And with the community that's going on Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that, somebody's going to have it.
Yeah.
So, and it's very rare people ask. I always offer to pay for the parts, but it's very rare people will ask for money for it.
Yeah.
But then on the other hand, if somebody wants a part and I've got it, I will send it to them. It's the way it works, isn't it?
No, yeah, you gotta like pay it forward. That's
Yeah,
cool, man. I like that right there. Yeah, I
yeah.
mean, you know, all the stuff you're making, man, it's crazy. And then with the bubble tops, even like the photo I'm looking at right now, right in front of me, with the hauler, um, just carrying the car, it just everything just like matches like on
Well,
them.
that's because they're all from the same kit, and it was meant to. Like the hauler, the car is the latest issue of the '57 Ford. Not a lot of modifications to the body on that, but then the hauler itself is two '57 Fords. But the bubble tops on the hauler are from it's the AMT silhouette kit,
Mm.
Bill Cushenberry bubble top kit, and that kit came with a trailer, a big bubble top trailer to put the car in.
Mhm.
So the on the car itself, the bubble top is turned round to use. So the back part of it is what was supposed to be the front,
Mhm.
and then the windshield is the back of the bubble top. So I stretched it to look like it was half bubble top. But then the bubble top on the hauler is the opening section from the trailer.
Wow.
And
That's
then
great, man.
all the interior for the hauler is all scratch built.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
yeah, that
I think you did post something like that, right? With the scratch build, like the seats on your
yeah,
on Instagram.
the seats are a scratch built interior, but the seats the actual bucket seats are from a vintage '60s Revell parts pack,
Mm.
and the steering column. But the seat in the car, I wanted it to be all kind of molded body color, like where's it gone? Where the hell is it? Now there. So do you remember that car built by Eldon Titus?
Oh, you know what that reminds me of?
Yeah.
There's like a version of the Pink Panther.
Yes, yeah, it's quite similar, but that car had all the seat was body worked pin body color, and then the seats sank into it. So I wanted something very similar for that. So yeah,
Man,
I tried.
that's a nice looking car though. I've never seen that car before.
Have you
It was
not?
just when I saw the shape, like I guess the front end of it, the way it's coming out, it
Yeah,
reminds me of that Pink Panther car.
yeah. Well, that's built from a Jaguar XJS.
Damn, that's crazy. And
So
have you ever worked with like any resin bodies, or have you ever gotten your
uh,
hands on like a Jimmy
no,
Flintstone body?
I've got a couple of Jimmy Flintstones bodies, but I've never built one. I've
Hmm.
got a Ford Falcon 1961 Ford Falcon panel van that I want to build. I've got that in the cupboard, but I've never built a resin body. Um,
Yeah, I mean there's other resin casters out here. I remember I used to hear about other ones that were around back then, but I never got to see those models like those bodies. You know, I feel like when I got back into modeling again, I feel like a lot of those companies and the creators were retired from the casting.
Yeah,
Jimmy Flintstone bodies have only been the only ones I've been able to get my hands on as of late.
yeah. Now he doesn't build them himself. For other builders, his stuff's fantastic. It's accessible. It's cheap. For what he's building, his stuff is incredibly cheap. Um, some of his early stuff was quite rough and a bit ready. His latest stuff's really quite nice. And for what it is, like I think what you're paying $20 for him now or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, they're like any between like 17 to 20 for a body.
That's the work that's gone into creating them. That's incredibly cheap,
Hmm.
incredibly, and really good value.
No, you're right.
A lot of his stuff was mastered by a guy called Ted Chopperlear. A lot of
Hmm.
the stuff. So Chopper, he's another one of my inspirations for building the custom stuff. He does what the hell he wants, makes them unique. Sadly, he passed away a couple of years ago, but he did a lot of the masterwork of the custom stuff for Jimmy Flintstone. So yeah, I've had a couple. I've bought a couple and then ended up selling them again.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy how it is like that. Like we consume kits and things, and then after a while, we know we sell them, we trade them, we give them away, but somehow it almost comes full circle. We end up back with it somehow. Like,
Which yeah, yeah, I know. I've sold stuff and then bought it back 2 years later. Go, actually, that was my kit that I sold.
that's crazy. And so this weekend, there's gonna be a model car show. It's a scaled model world.
Yeah, it's not a model car show. Um, most of the shows here are put on by the IPMS.
Hmm.
Uh, obvious, so they have. It used to be called the Nationals. It's now called Scale Model World. So it's not a model car show. It's just a model show.
Okay, like a mix of everything is in there.
Yes, I mean you've got here, as I said, model car building of what we do is nothing compared to what your guys are. You are over in the States. It's mainly here, it's mainly military stuff
Hmm.
that's done. All the car, pretty much all the car guys here, we know each other.
Yeah.
And particularly the hot rod and custom builders, we know each other.
Hmm.
Because, like, I think the UK is smaller than California.
Yeah. Dang.
So yeah, it's the so they have regional shows. Like I think in the States in the IPMS they call them chapters, don't they?
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. It's like spread out because it's all the different states and in the
yeah,
area.
yeah. So we have regional sort of branches, if you will, of clubs, and then within the IPMS we have what's called special interest groups. And I run the hot rod and custom car special interest group. So every year, all in November, all the SIGs, all the special interest groups and the clubs and stuff, we all descend on Telford, put on displays. There's vendors. It's a whole weekend of some of the most amazing builds you'll ever see, with competition, vendors, and yeah. So I'll be there all weekend.
Yeah,
Having
that's cool. It sounds fun. I mean, especially like these shows, do they happen pretty often, or is it kind of spread out throughout the whole year?
Right, spread out through the year. So I've got we're displaying at a show. We've got one in January, we've got one in February, and then I think there's another one April, May, March or April. But yeah, they're all sort of regional, smaller shows. I don't really know of any specific model car shows that we have here. They're all pretty much done by the IPMS chapters in a small sort of school or a sports hall kind of thing, which are just one-day shows.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I've got, as I say, I've got 3 coming up next year. But yeah, it's they're not what they are over there, if you will.
You know, on over here, there was a show that I attended and I vended at last Sunday, this past Sunday. And
Yes.
it was a trip because like everybody who's there, you know, you like I've been to the show many times, but by now, you know, everyone's like a familiar face, or everyone knows each other.
Yeah.
And here and there, you know, you'll see new faces come in. But it was a trip. It was funny because I was kicking it on my table, and this guy, he came in, and he was just like, he had like this like shocked look in his face. He was just like looking at everything, at everybody. And
Yeah.
he comes over to my side to talk to me, and he's with his girlfriend, and he's all leathered up. Like you could just tell this dude just like got off of his Harley Davidson, you know? And then he's like, man, he's like, you guys build these? He's like, you guys sell these? Like he was just tripping out. And I was like thinking, I think this is this guy's first show. I don't think he's ever gone to a model show, you
Yeah.
know? And then he started talking to whoever was walking by. So eventually his this girl that he was with, she starts talking to me and she tells me, you know, when we heard about this show, we saw it online and we were both like, oh, well, we have the whole day to ourselves. Let's just go out. She thought they thought that they were going to like a real like real car to see real cars.
Okay.
So yeah, so they thought they were going to like a real car show, that there was going to be
Right.
cars, motorcycles, and all this stuff. So they got all ready, you know, they brought their bike and
Yep.
all this stuff, and then they showed up, and she was saying, yeah, we were circling the place, we were trying to look when we saw there was no cars or not like show cars or anything, and we were like, what's going on? So we just walked in, you know, and we came in, and then we came over, and this is how we ended up in here.
Yeah.
That's why he's tripping out. He's like,
And
he
did he
never
buy?
knew. He never knew this like stuff still existed or whatever. I'm like, no,
Oh,
yeah, still going strong.
it's a great hobby. I mean, this show, I the way I feel about shows is we go and display. People, the public come in, they have a look at the stuff, and have a good time. For me, the shows are more about the models are almost secondary in the show for me. It's all about catching up with friends that you only see at the show, and talking all weekend and swapping ideas and stuff like that. But the models you do a bit of shopping, you have a look around the show, but it's secondary to catching up with your friends.
Yeah. No, I agree because even like on Sunday, that's kind of the vibe how it was. Like, even though I was there to vend, but there
Yeah.
was, you know, there's a lot of downtime too. It's not like it's like crazy busy, but there's times when like your friends come over, you know, and they come to, you know, and you're talking and, you know, there's always jokes or something funny, you know?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
then after a while, all right, let me go, let me sneak out of the table because it's not, no one's coming over. Now I could like step away. Let me go take some photos of some of the
Yeah.
bills that are on the tables. And all right, I need to go back to the table now. So
Yeah.
a
Well,
lot, lot, lot of different activities.
yeah, my friend Andy, who I was talking about earlier, he's vending at the show this year as well. And he's there on his own. He sells model kits and bits of parts. But what we tend to do is so he can have a break from, we will go and help out on his table. So he can have a look around the show and go and talk to people. We will go and help him out. So that's the whole sort of purpose of the weekend, really.
Yeah, that's cool, man. That's cool. And then is this gonna be like one of the last shows just for this year until the following year, pretty much?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay,
Pretty much.
that's good because
I,
then after
I'm,
this, I'm assuming everybody goes on like holiday, right?
Yeah, everybody goes on holiday through the summer kind of thing. But this is the big show this year in the calendar where everybody's gearing up and getting models finished for this show. It's
Wow.
it's one everybody wants to go to, one everybody looks forward to because
Dang.
it's not the national show, it's not the club show, it
Mhm.
is the IPMS
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah. I saw on one of your posts, Chris, on Instagram, he's a kit builder, Chris.
Oh
He's
yeah,
an Aoshima ambassador. Um,
yes,
yeah, I believe he's gonna probably be going.
yeah.
Probably.
He's messaged me. He's going to come and say hello at the show.
Oh, nice.
Um, McQueen Scale Productions on Instagram. He does a lot of the Aishima, the Japanese type stuff. He's going to come and say hello, and
Yeah.
yeah, it was quite weird. Like because I went to the show last year and I had some of my builds on the table, and I was just chatting to a friend. Somebody came up to the table and went, "Are you Krow Kustom?" Yeah, that's me. Oh right, I follow you on Instagram.
That's tight.
It was like, wow, bloody hell! Somebody's kind of
Hmm.
I feel a bit humbled by the. I mean, I haven't got 1,000 followers on Instagram yet or anything like that, but to have them, I feel really humbled that people are liking, watching my stuff, and they
Hmm.
enjoy it. So yeah, it's quite a trip for me. Is that?
Yeah, no, it's very inspirational because I feel like when we get into, I guess we could say like a genre of a style of a car, we feel pressured sometimes. Like, all right, this car has to have, these wheels, like these parts on the engine, and this and that.
Yeah,
And then I've always felt like I was talking to Slowly Models, Casey, and I was telling
yeah,
him about like I trip out how with the custom cars, it's like you do what you want to do and it's your creation. And I
yeah,
also feel that way about like the Japanese cars, like the Bozuzoku cars,
yeah,
where they could be kind of wild and just like do your thing and everybody has their own take and it's not really like anybody nitpicking at like, oh no, you can't do that, you can't put those wheels. It's just it is what it is.
yeah. It's not
And
the side of it.
yeah, and I've always, just the little bit that I've dabbled with both, I've really enjoyed, just working with those cars. And after a while, it's very refreshing stepping away from like a standard kind of a build. But then when you start to see like the stuff that you come up with, it does make it makes you like think different, like, oh man, maybe I should try this, because we see what you're doing. We go,
Yeah,
it's one
but
of those things like where we ask ourselves, like, what would Crow Customs do right here? You know?
right, okay, wow,
And then you go into
wow,
the drawing board and you do it up.
yeah. Well, that comment's just kind of blown me away there. That what would you've said? What would Crow Custom do with this? Whereas I follow Slowly Models and Martin. Is it Martin Aviard?
Oh yes. Uh-huh.
Short models, and their stuff just blows my mind. It's the stuff that they do. I just and the engines, how the realism of it, um, it just blows me away. It's like wow. I follow. Do you watch a guy on YouTube called A4 Garage?
Bell Garage.
Japanese builder. Look him up on YouTube. He
Okay.
builds stock stuff,
Yeah.
and they are the most detailed stuff on there. He's building a BMW at the moment with opening panels, but I, they blow me away. And like you said, what would I do with a certain car? I look at these and think maybe I need to step up my game and put engines in and do things more detailed. But I love looking at them,
Hmm.
love these builds because they're inspirational. They are phenomenal. I just don't have the patience for it. I
Yeah,
don't.
yeah, yeah, and that's cool. You just follow like what you want to do. At that point, um, when I look at your, I keep looking at that hauler because I have it as the backdrop, but it
Yes,
it reminds me of I remember a while back, Gary Seeds, another model builder.
yeah.
Yeah,
I'm a Gary Seeds.
yeah, oh dope. He sent me a photo of it looked like a van, but he like cut it out. He kind of made it into like a little hauler too, but for a motorcycle.
Oh yeah, I know the one. Yes.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I don't know. Is that kind of like that style? Is that considered like a 50s or 60s kind of like custom?
Oh, more 60s. The
Okay.
more 60, sort of the bubble top kind of thing is the more 60s space age, where the late 50s, early 60s, everybody thought that we were going to be driving hover cars with bubble
Hmm.
top, stuff
Yeah.
like that. That's space age. Yeah, that kind of thing. It's like, to be fair, that hauler, Gary Seeds is one of the inspirations behind that because he did the Dodge MPC Dodge Diora kit
Hmm.
from he built a stretched one with twin axle at the rear, gold with a dragster on the back. That that model was half of the inspiration for that hauler.
Dang, that's crazy, man. I mean, he listens to the podcast, so he'll hear. I want him to
I,
hear this. That's cool.
I've been a fan of Gary Seed stuff for a long time. When I see him, and he pops up on the Model Cars magazine forum,
Hmm.
post some of his stuff on there. But it's always like, oh, Gary's got a new build that he's
Yeah,
fit.
it trips me out. I like how active he is because he has this profession where he's painting 101 scale cars and motorcycles and all these different things, but he still finds the time to build model cars at night.
Yeah,
And even this last weekend, he attended the Acme show in Atlanta.
yeah, I
And
saw the picture.
yeah, and I was like, dude, look at that. He made he went over there,
Yeah,
and he got to hang out and check out the show and for people to see his cars, it's just so cool. Like, I mean, I'm for me, that's like on the other side of the US, so I could not attend
okay,
that show, but still,
yeah,
I would love to see Gary Seeds' cars like in person.
yes, I would as well. I would. And then there was another guy there called Steve Boot.
Damn.
Uh, he builds. Steve Boot is just like the god of custom car builders. He builds the most beautiful, accurate, traditional custom cars, like just unbelievable stuff. He had some of his stuff there, um, and then there was, I think, Paul Vanderpool was there as well. Um, he's we A few years ago, he builds real cars. He builds gassers and dragsters for a living, basically. But he got involved in. I'm part of an online build off called FAF,
Mhm.
which was started back in 2020 by a mate of mine called Lee Good, who's an Australian hot rod artist. And it got started as during lockdown, during the pandemic, as a kind of a bit of an antidote to it, really. Give someone. So a lot of us, I think there's about 40 of us, all started building a 40 Ford for this online build off. And Paul Vanderpool was part of that build off. So yeah, he's that brought him back into building models or
Mhm.
focused, and now he's building real cars and models. It's good. It's great to see these people picking up the hobby again.
Nah, it is. I mean, it must be a trip because they're working on the real cars, but then again, it's like they're going back to the drawing board, like a miniature, a scale of a blueprint of something, and it's just all these ideas. I'm sure they're learning back and forth on things as they're going along.
Oh yeah, yeah, and it's great. I mean, I love the fact that I mean, lockdown and the pandemic, in one way, was a good thing
Mhm.
because it forced people or to look back at things, find things to do, and a lot more people have picked up hobbies of anything, of or tried something new. It's like, oh, I've always wanted to try this,
Mhm.
and I've got the time to try it, and they've carried on with it. It's been a great thing for hobbies and crafts, and because people have carried them on. It's like, I've really enjoyed this, so I'm going to still do it.
Yeah, yeah, because it's like I remember when I was having a conversation with Tim, Mary, he was telling me how, he built a lot of like Gundam kits during the pandemic, and then fast forward to now, I mean, he's doing a lot more cars, especially like Volkswagens,
Yes,
and it's just like he like as soon as he got his hands into the cars and he started dabbling in the model car kits, he got hooked even
yeah,
more.
yeah,
And I mean, the stuff he's doing, I'm like, man, I feel like you've been doing cars for a long time, and it hasn't been a long time, but he's so inspired and just like learning fast that he's picking everything up quick.
yeah.
And
And
it,
it's people have found a passion for certain things, and it's like model cars. There's so much that you can do with them. There's so much and so much availability of nearly every car genre that you want to build. It's like, I love the Japanese stuff, the early 70s with the 15-inch wide wheels and the JDM type of stuff.
mhm.
Like the old 60s and 70s skylines and things like that. I've got a couple of kits upstairs, but haven't done them yet.
Yeah,
Uh,
oh, that's nice.
but the people will find a kit of a car that they like, and that's all it has to be. It's a car that they like, and have a
Mhm.
go at it. And it starts a bit of a sickness, really, isn't it?
Yeah,
It
man.
becomes a
Yeah,
bit of an
it is. It's an addiction for sure. I mean, I'm constantly opening kits, starting a new one. I get it
yeah,
to a point, and I keep doing all this body work and primer, body work, primer, that sometimes it doesn't even reach the paint stage. I just kind of, and then I tell myself, man, I'm just punishing myself doing all this work. Now let's go ahead and start adding the colors, and then I get more excited when I'm gonna
yes,
do that. And
yeah,
then, and for some reason, I still tell myself to kind of stop after I clear it. And then I'm like, all right, let's open up another one, and
yeah.
I can
I've got
tell.
I've got what I can see. I'm sat here. I've got 4 projects here
Yeah.
that that I've in various states of whatever. But like the Buick, I'll get this to a stage of I've designed it. I know bulk of the work is done on it, but
Mhm.
then the bodywork and getting it smooth, and that's the tedious bit that I get bored of.
Mhm.
So I'll I'll move on to something else,
Yeah.
and then when I get like I'm in the mood for the tedious bodywork, then I'll come back to this one, and once that's got smooth and it's got painted, then it takes on another momentum to right. I've got it painted now. I can finish it, and
Mhm.
getting to that stage.
No,
Take
yeah. Do you ever do you
that's
ever
where that now. This is at the tedious bodywork stage.
right there, yeah. Man, that's crazy. Did you ever get into like doing like chop tops, like or sectioning models?
Yeah, I haven't. I never. I'm. That's what I do. I customize cars, but I've never chopped a top.
Mm-hmm.
and 3 years ago, or sectioned a body till about
Mm-hmm.
3 years ago. Because I've always been a bit nervous about it, about ruining a model kit. Because
Yeah.
they are, at the end of the day, they're expensive.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a model kit here now, an AMT model kit in this country, if you wanted to buy a new model kit, they're about 50 quid, which is about $50.
Yeah, damn. Yeah, because that's like that would be considered like an import.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
right? Yeah.
Well, and the newer stuff, I was talking to my mate Andy the other day,
Mm-hmm.
and he's struggling to get AMT kits here because the retail price of them is going to be around 60 to 70 quid.
Yeah, they're going up. I get like the price list when I go on my distributor's like website, and there's like AMT and Revell, but especially the AMT, there's like kits on there that I go, man, honestly, I don't even, it's not even, for me, it's not worth ordering them to resell them just
Yeah,
because they're too high in price. Like over here, it's gonna be almost for $40
yeah,
for the kit. And I know that there's like other bigger like stores like Hobby Lobby and other competitors who will sell the same kit, but at a discount price, at times.
it's
And
almost doing it.
and for me, I'm more like, if you really want that kit, just get it there, or get it
Yeah,
where it's gonna be cheaper for sure.
yeah,
So, but I trip
absolutely.
out when I see those prices climbing, and I didn't even think about, like for on your side, like as an import, it would be even more money.
Yeah. Whereas here, like the Ashima kits or Hasegawa and stuff like that are a lot cheaper.
Hmm.
A lot cheaper here
Yeah.
than Revell kits are quite cheap here, but
Dang.
they're quite expensive.
Yeah, at the hobby shows, I would say like a year ago, or before the pandemic, when you would go to a hobby like a model car show, the vendors, their cars, you would find all the A&T kits from the 90s, right? Where it has like that
Yeah.
grayish background,
Yes.
and then just a car, like super clean background. You would find those kits all the time for just 10 bucks, 15
Yeah.
bucks, right? And now those same kits, it's like they've kind of gone up, like doubled in price now.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
mean, people buy them, but you do see them now. And before you would grab like three, four of them. Now you're just like, I'll just take the one.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely. I'll just go get a model. It won't be a
Yeah,
second.
yeah,
I'm
go
talking
ahead, go
about
ahead.
sectioning.
Yeah, but it is a trip though. How like the prices are definitely changing on there. I'm drinking a coffee, not a coffee, a tea on my side right now for the throat. And put this right here. Bam. Man, more.
Yeah. So the first car that I sectioned was that one.
Wow. There, I'm gonna zoom in on you. Let's see.
So yeah, that was the first one that I sectioned um, back in 2020, and that was the first one for that FAF build off that we were talking about.
Nice. That looks good.
Yeah, I'm quite pleased with that.
That's dope. What color is that on the paint?
Um, it's again from Halfords. It's
Is it like a metallic or a
yeah,
candy?
it's a metallic. It's a Rover color. So we had Rover. A car make here was called Rover, and that is peacock blue.
Nice. I could see
Oh,
the
sorry, kingfisher blue.
nice. I could see the shine from the lights like on the side. What kind of clear are you rocking on that?
Halfords, just
Okay.
normal spray can
Oh, okay,
automotive,
okay. Yeah, it looks good. It was like shiny.
and then that's the first one that I chopped.
Ooh, that's cool.
So
Like a shoebox? Is that a Ford?
it's 49 Ford.
Wow, man.
So that's been chopped 6 mil section 6.
Yeah,
all scratch built front and rear end, asymmetric.
I like that.
That's yeah, and Pegasus wheels. I love Pegasus wheels.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's cool. Yeah,
uh,
they're not too far from where I live. The
yeah,
Pegasus store, like,
yes. They I don't hardly use any aftermarket parts at all.
mhm,
The aftermarket parts I use really are Pegasus wheels.
mhm. Yeah, they look good. They go really well with the models.
Yeah, well, they do the chrome reverse rims with the narrow white walls. They're a very 1960s wheel.
Mhm.
So a lot of them on my 60s builds.
Are those easy to find out there? The
No,
Pegasus wheels or no?
in fact, I've just got a delivery of 6 sets of them that Mark Kawano over in California, he ordered them for me and sent them out for me.
Oh, that's nice of him.
So yeah, they 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 are quite hard to get hold of here. So
Yeah.
if I see them, I buy them.
Oh yeah.
I
Yeah,
buy
you
them.
can sleep on them.
I've got a drawer full of them here. So the Supremes and
Oh, nice.
oh, nice set of Aoshima wheels.
Oh yeah, nice, nice. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They're really nice actually.
Man, that's cool. It makes me happy to see that you got all that stuff. Like there's no limitation, you know? Like
No,
you could create and you could just do what you gotta do. Do you spend a lot of time in that room on your free time or do you yeah, right?
yeah, spend a
Yeah.
lot. I like this room. Spend a lot of time here. I don't watch a great deal of TV at
Hmm.
all.
Yeah.
Uh, I live on my own,
Hmm.
and my kids come over when I'm off work at the weekends. They come and stay.
Yeah.
But this room is my son's bedroom
Hmm.
when he's there. But yes, I do spend a lot of time in here. Um,
Yeah.
got get some music on. I'd
Oh yeah.
rather I'd rather be sat listening to some music or listening to a podcast or
Um,
an audio book or something like that
yeah.
and creating rather than trying to find something to watch on TV. It's just
No. For real. No,
I
yeah,
don't.
like I back then I really didn't watch too much TV or movies or whatever. And now, when I hang out with my girl and the baby, well, she'll put something on. Oh, let's watch this movie. And I'll be like, I've never even seen that movie. And she'll be like, what? You never seen that? That's been around for so I'm like, dude, I'm telling you, I never really watched stuff any back then. I was busy doing other things, you know.
See, it's different. You're on your own. It's like I don't watch a lot of TV because I don't get the enjoyment of watching it on my own.
Hmm.
I'd rather be doing something else, but I'd rather sit and watch a film with somebody.
Hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
So we watch films when the kids are here. I call them kids; they're adults, but we we sit and watch a movie together and stuff like that. But other than that, no, I'm usually up here. Even if I'm not doing anything, I'm
Hmm.
not achieving anything. I'm sat at the bench
Yeah.
messing about or tidying up or sorting parts out or something like that. You know?
Yeah, I even find that enjoyment. Like whenever
Yeah,
I'm not building anything and I want to just kind of organize or kind of catalog like what is it that I have, where is what,
yeah,
and clean up. And even I get satisfaction out of that.
yeah. Well, I mean, my bench. I'm sat at my bench now. It's really small. It is. It's not even a meter wide.
Hmm.
So I kind of I have to keep it tidy.
Yeah.
Um, every now every now and then it's like right, it needs a damn good clean down. Does this and put things away
Hmm.
where I find them, or I'll even just go rifling through the parts box of what
Hmm.
cool bit I've got in there, and I'll put
Yeah.
them to one side for a later project. And it's like yeah, I'll
Or
that
sorting.
something. Yeah,
No, that's cool. I remember my bench sometimes it would get really dusty from all that sanding, and
yes,
I would clean like what's in front of me, but I would never really get the edges or like the sides. Because
Yes.
all that dust would just float off. And I remember after a while, I would just be like, "Oh, I know I can clean that quick." So I would get like my babies, like those baby wipes,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
then I just wipe the whole table. I'd be like, "All
Yeah.
right, cool,
Or
we're good, we're
on
good."
the bench to get, because I create a lot of dust with all the body work that I do, a lot of dust. So I get the Hoover, the
Oh,
vacuum,
okay. Mm-hmm.
and Hoover the bench down,
Yeah,
and
just do it that
then
way.
back down. So
Oh, that's cool.
yeah, it does get a bit messy in here. The floor is actually covered in bits of chipped off resin from. I need to have a clean.
Mm-hmm.
Chipped all that casting I did the other day.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Man, that's cool. But I understand what you're saying though. You don't want to get into the resin like to be selling, and I think that's when the fun goes away at that
Exactly,
point, you know?
exactly. But I wanted to create that part. People were liking it, asking me if I can buy it. So I thought, right, do you know what? I'm going to make 15 sets of
Mhm.
them, and I'll give them away. So people have messaged me, private messaged me saying I'd like a set. So the name's gone on the list.
Yeah.
But then, with the show coming up, I've got plenty of resin left. So I'm going to take them to the show, give them
Mhm.
away at the show, and then come back on Monday, Tuesday. I'll sit and make another 15 sets
Yeah.
that I can ship out, because they're going all over the world. They're
Yeah.
going to
Oh,
Australia, Australia, Sweden, America. So
mhm.
uh, just
Ah,
to be
yeah.
nice, really.
No, it's tight. I hope you get some footage or like photos from the show, from some of
Yeah,
the.
well, I'll because we have a display every year. We do our table has a theme
Hmm.
for what we're going to display, and this year it's the 90th anniversary this year of the 932 Ford. So it's the 32 Ford being the quintessential hot rod. So
Hmm.
theming it on the 32 Ford this year. So there'll be plenty of pictures, plenty of models
Nice.
to have a look. I'll take plenty from around the show of everything.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Military dioramas.
It'd be nice to see that.
Yeah, I'll
Um,
post that up.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. We're setting off on Friday morning,
Mhm.
um, and then coming back late Sunday night. So I'll be posting up next week, because
Okay.
because of the show, I've got a bit of time off work. I don't go back into work now until a week on Friday. So
Mhm.
good bit of time off, bit of building time.
Yeah,
Sleeping
yeah.
sleeping most of Monday because I've been knackered from the show.
No, yeah, you're gonna be tired, man. I can
Yeah,
only imagine, you know.
mm,
Oh, but it's
yeah,
gonna be a fun weekend for sure.
yeah. I'm really looking forward to it. It's, as I say, the models are secondary to catching up with friends.
Mhm.
There's a lot of laughing, a lot of taking a piss out of each other, and just and it's people that you only see at this particular show. You see them once a year,
Mhm.
and we've all been going to these shows for 15, 20 years. So we we look forward to seeing each other and
Yeah,
having a good time.
no,
So
definitely. Yeah,
it'll be
well, we look forward to seeing some photos. You got to keep us posted.
oh, of course, yeah, definitely get to see plenty of pictures, and I'll keep posting my projects up on Instagram of my messy bench and
Yeah,
where I'm going with things.
uh,
So
that's what's up.
but you posted up that new sticker that you've got. It's
Yeah,
only
yeah. Nah, I'm gonna get you because I know you commented on that. So
it's only it really is only plastic.
yeah.
Have some bloody fun with it. Don't stress about it. Have some fun. And if it goes wrong, it's only plastic.
Yeah, yeah. That's cool. Do you want to give out any shout outs before we wrap up this episode?
Yeah. Shout out to Lee Good and Mark Cummins, who instrumental in the FAF build off, which is on Facebook. Um, few mates that are in this building scene with me, Andy Swindlehurst, Dave Neve, and all them kind of people, and Ian Hartup. We all know each other and we inspire each other. So yeah, thank you very much for having me. It's been
Yeah,
absolutely
no, Lee, it was a pleasure, man. This was awesome. It was great talking to you. Like, I'm glad that we were able to do this episode. I
thank
remember a while back, asking you like, dude, we need to do an episode, and I'm glad that now we did it. So, thank you again. I know it's early. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Over here, it's already, it's nighttime for me, but. Um,
yeah.
I'm just happy. I'm happy that we had this conversation.
Yeah, oh, I've been looking forward to it. It's a bit of an honour to be asked to be on with
Oh,
all
thanks, man.
the people that you have on there. It's I'm a little bit blown away by the fact that I've been asked to be on. So, thank you. I appreciate it.
No, you're welcome. You're welcome. And you have a good one, man, and we'll stay in touch.
Yeah, of course, will do. All right,
All
pal.
right. All right,
Okay,
man. Peace
take
out.
care.
Have a good one. Later.
Bye, bye.
Bye.